What is one better truth you know about life? No matter how hard you try to be a good person and friend, you'll never be able to control whether or not someone actually gives a shit about you. That there are always a few people who will always be left out, who will never feel quite at home. You don't always get what you deserve. I think I'd go a step further and say you rarely get what you deserve. Some people are born lucky and some are born to have the absolute shit kicked out of them at every opportunity. My father said she was born lucky. He says I was lucky to be born. Prince Zuko. Your father must be a fine lady. Today I learned context is important. It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not weakness. That is life. Jane Luckpakid. The universe is so astounding, and we'll never see most of it. Stupid expanding universe. Stupid sexy Flanders. No matter how nice, pleasant or thoughtfully you treat others, there are very few people you can really trust. And sometimes it's the people you thought you could trust the most that turn out to be the ones you should trust the least. You too will grow old, or die prematurely. No matter how hard you try, you won't always get what you want. Like the Rolling Stones song. It is possible for a parent to not love their child. And it is okay if you don't love your parents. It's one thing to be acquainted with people you find to be friendly. It's another to have true friends that stick with you through thick and thin over the years of your lives together. And it's another thing entirely to have those true friends 4 years of your life drift away from you until eventually you have a falling out. Suddenly, your social circle and support group is gone, and you find yourself oh so very alone in the world. Yeppers. We all have to die, hopefully not painfully. Working in nursing homes I've realized death can be one of the greatest gifts we have. Euthanasia should be legal immo. That you are the villain in someone else's narrative. I'm the villain in my own story. It isn't fair. Some people will be born just to suffer for their very short time on this earth. Others will be born into riches the rest of us can never even conceive. The universe is a chaotic and unforgiving place. Loving someone, or being loved by someone, is not the same thing as them being right for you. Oof. This hit home. The only person you can ever 100% rely on is yourself. I'd go with the 90% on that, based on my history of letting myself down. I'd give myself a 50%, maybe as low as 25% on some days. Lots of people were the smartest kid in high school. College hit me with hammer overhead repeatedly. Family is not necessarily blood. You can try and push, but sometimes the most airheaded, least understanding people are the ones you're born with. My opinion is I decide who my family is, and DNA hasn't got shit to do with it. Cancer, and incurable cancer, can affect anyone, at any age, even your 15-year-old best friend. I'm a 34-year-old man. If I had a 15-year-old best friend, that would be very odd. A vast majority of us will be completely forgotten by the time our grandchildren die. So if I don't have any offspring I'll be remembered forever, yai, cries in childless. Some people truly cannot be helped. No matter how hard you try, no matter how much you care about them, no matter how good you are to them, some people just want to burn. Just because you've had a bunch of bad things happen to you, doesn't actually mean it's going to get any better, even if you try hard to be positive and focus on making yourself the best version of you possible. Sometimes the best people get fucked over the worst and it just stays that way. A lot of times there are ups and downs, but it's never guaranteed. Yeah, I think the whole everything will be okay is simply a coping mechanism people use to help alleviate the fact that the world is a cold, dark place. There is no bottom to human greed and depravity. You can get sick, not a little cold, but the serious kind that doesn't get better. Maybe cancer with a chance for a cure. Maybe something you've never heard of that has no happy ending or any ending at all. It could happen at any moment to anyone. It doesn't matter. If you exercise and try to do everything right and be healthy, you can still end up chronically ill for the rest of your life. If you're lucky, it isn't something rare. The doctors can identify it. There are treatments you can try. If you aren't, you can end up sick, struggling to get by, with no idea why or what to do about it. It happens to many people, and it can happen to you. First semester of college going into finals week I got diagnosed with leukemia. Up until then I had eaten healthy, played sports my whole life, and had a GF somehow. Lost all strength so that I couldn't go up or downstairs, and could barely dress myself in less than a week. Spent 11 months laying in bed throwing up multiple times daily, and had kidney stones and other various medical problems periodically. Moving out in about 30 minutes. Boys, life sucks, but it can turn around to be less shitty at least. Hang in there bro/Cs. You rock. I'm rooting for you. Employers will take advantage of you. It's literally a competitive sport. You can do everything right, put in all the effort, and still fail. Source: girlfriend of 7 years just left me. It is possible to make no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness. That is life. Captain Picard. Star Trek: The Next Generation. No matter how nice you are, there will always be people who say they hate you and mean it. There will always be people who want to end your life, or want you to end it yourself, and they mean it. No matter how nice you are. Sadly, I had to learn that the hard way, and I want no one else to have to learn it the same way I did. You probably have something shiny about you that makes you the object of envy. Don't worry, it'll either wear off by the time you're 40, or you'll have become immune to assholes by then. Your health is everything. Without it you really have nothing. You're going to die. How I look at it, death isn't really as evil as they make it to be. If you lived a shitty life, you can embrace the fact that you can finally let go of all the suffering and never deal with it again. If you lived a pleasurable life, you can rest knowing that got to enjoy it for what it's worth. This is why the Romans were pretty okay with suicide pre-Christianity. Note, I'm not advocating suicide. They essentially felt it was a bodily autonomy issue. The world sucked really hard then. And if it got too shitty, well, you have an out, and it was an option even open to slaves. No matter how much you jiggle and dance, the last 2 drops always land in your pants. Just another argument for streaking through life.